Now the second one with dot or period, any single characters. So it could be anything between that, like it should return, this is a Java subject, right? So anything between that, as long as it's matching the pattern. This one will not match because it's only one characters for per period, right? It will match. Make sense? But if you want more than one, then we talk about this 0 or more, or 1 or more occurrences, right? But when it comes to question mark, 0 or 1 occurrence. So I'm looking at either 0 or 1, right, of J, right? So let's say if I'm talking about we talk about OR, right? Well, we want to see if we want to look at 1 or more J, we have that. But if we want to match something like this, how do we do that? That we want any single characters. So it could be 0 or more, right? Like that. Let's see. Make sense? This could be any, right? This is a single characters, right? It could be any A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and it could be 0 or more. Like even nothing between it, or more, right? Or more, then it would work. See that? Or any letters, it still work. Want to look at least one letter between J and A. At least one, I will do plus because 1 or more. If it's asterisk, let's see, it will not work. All right, 1 second, 0 or more, this still work, right? But it works, but I don't want that because I actually want to see at least 1 because 2 still let it go through. But I want to see at least 1, then it has to be plus. It will not let that go through anymore, right? It has to be at least 1 alphabet between it. Okay? Now, or it's just a pattern like I'm looking for either Java textbook or C++ textbook. I can do or, right? Right, or C and at least 1 or more because C always start with C, right? Okay. This is Java subject or C++. Let me try to change this. There you go. So it's going to fill into both, right? Because or here. And it's C++ right there. Right? C. Now that's how you use or. And if you put in the square bracket, so it's going to be matches one of these texts, right? Either A, B, or C if you specify exact text, right? Like for example, I have Java, right? I actually want to see is how to match, right, one of this text. It's going to match either A or V, right? This one, AV, doesn't work because either or, right? If it's just one letter, it will work because A, right? J, the case 2, right? Let's say doesn't work because either or, then you have to do it again. Something like that, right? Because this one per characters, right? Specify the letters that you want to match, right? So now let's see if we use with C++, right? And we say it can be one or more C, that's fine. It's going to match. Right, so it's going to go down there because it has to match, right? Or maybe if you spell it out, you can do uppercase, lowercase right here, right? Oh, this is going to be either or plus, so we have to do exact, right? Either positive or spelling out. This is per character, so let's test with one first. Now we want it to have exact any characters except A through C, right? Okay. We're gonna make, let's see if it's that work first. Then we may need to group it. So the actual problem is a space here. So we actually have to put space right there first. And let's test with just the space first. Okay. Now we can do plus. So plus should be just spell it out here, right? The problem actually coming from the space here. So it can be another plus, which is going to be another space. Then we have to look at if it's either do this or this again, right? Or plus or space again, right? There you go. Either plus or space again. If we have the correct, right? Correct in front of A to Z. We only see A to Z. That means it can be any characters, right? It could be uppercase between A and M, like J, and AV between that, and any A to D. Alright, so now if you want to deal with uppercase, lowercase, you can actually use this, right? Or this. If you want to take care of uppercase and lowercase, then you don't need to worry, right? Either user enter in lowercase, uppercase is still fine. It as Java, right? So what for the correct and any character except A through Z. So A to Z, that means like now if I want to validate the password validation, I can say user can enter anything between A to Z lowercase, right? But if I want to say, hey, password cannot be including lowercase letters, then you just do the correct in front, right? For example, if I say 1, 2, 3, okay, and let me just do another if matches, this is a math, okay, subject, something like that. So I want to do correct, right? And I want no letters, right? No letters. Okay, it has to be inside, okay. A to Z, any character except A to Z. Okay, maybe that's looking at uppercase, then let's test. Matches. So the problem is this is only one letters. I can only do one. I cannot do one and one, right? Because I happen to type 111, then in that case I have to do this 3 times because this is only match 1, right? Make sense? Now, but you can do like at least 1 or more, right? At least 1 or more instead of copy and paste 3 times. Or even 0, right? So you said anything is fine with as long as there has no letters A to Z. Then you can just say like that. Make sense? So we're gonna mix and match them together. For letters, right? Lower characters, this one. If I do uppercase, it should work. But how are we gonna do with that? We're gonna say or, right? Or uppercase. There you go. Right? So it's taking care of both lowercase and uppercase. You see how we combine pretty much this up to this point. Which, if you read by itself now, if you never learn it, you're gonna be confusing. Right? So sometimes comment is good to put right there, right? So that's why comment is a good thing at this point that you want to use. When to use a comment, this is a good point, right? Any, you say, any number matches, excluding, right? Letters, something like that, right? Alphabets, right? I mean, English alphabet. Oh. Actually, it's not just letters, it's also what? Symbols, because when we do that, any number or symbols. Okay? Then you start to put that, it make more sense in your program now, either those, right? So we can have more, right? Matches A through E or M through P. We can do that too, right? So like A to G, this is Java, or I to M. So any letter in front is fine. If we do a group like that, and, right, intersection, you can do A to E with C to P, right? A to